What's going on, everyone? I imagine Austin Reaves is probably extremely hungry right now and extremely motivated for this upcoming season. So I'm sure all of you are aware, Team USA was officially eliminated and didn't place for a medal. They didn't get gold, silver, or bronze. So Austin Reaves did not get a medal, even though he was arguably their second best player on Team USA. He was number one in rating. He was the most consistent player on that roster and was their one constant and kind of equalizer, right? Like every time Team USA struggled or were in a rut or whatever, Steve Kerr would just put in Austin Reaves and boom, Austin Reaves is right there and everything gets righted immediately. Austin Reaves goes out, Team USA struggles. Put Reaves back in, boom, they're a well-oiled machine. And you can even make an argument that Team USA would have placed in a medal had they went to Austin Reaves earlier in the fourth. He was killing it. He was having a great game and just kind of dominating. You should have went with him. Let the guy take over, let him do his thing, and go get you a medal. Nonetheless, didn't happen. He didn't get a medal. And that in and of itself, you'd imagine, all right, I need to go get some hardware, right? But here's the other thing too. This is now, in the last 2 months, 3 months, Austin Reaves has came up short twice. He was a win away from being in the finals and playing for gold. He was a series away from being in the NBA finals and playing for a chip. Twice he was a series away from winning a gold medal or an NBA championship. And both times he lost. You don't think him, the competitor? Look, Austin Reaves is a very humble guy. Austin Reaves seems like a guy that just, he absolutely just loves the game of basketball. He's easygoing. Dude is a dog. Dude is a competitor. Dude is probably just itching right now, going like, I need to win something, man. All right, like I've worked my tail off to get to the point that I'm at. This dude took a page out of Rihanna and is shining bright like a diamond. Like this dude he's him. He is literally him, and he has proven it time and time again. This dude had a huge emergence, and there were questions of like, can he continue that? Went to Team USA, got all this backlash, heard all the noise, all the chirping of he doesn't belong, he doesn't deserve it, he's only on Team USA because he's a Laker, he's a glorified role player, he's all hype, blah, 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 and proved everybody wrong. Anthony Edwards was Team USA's best player. There is a legit argument that Austin Reaves was the second best player. From the eye test, to the metrics, to the rating, to the stat, like everything. The guy was their most consistent player. The guy shot like 55% from the field, almost 60% from three, 92, almost 93% from the free throw line. Averaged like just under 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. And for those that are like, oh, that doesn't sound like a lot, then you need to look up FIBA. You need to look up the rules of FIBA. It's a completely different game. It's more physical. There's different rules. Like you can goaltend in FIBA, right? Like not like you can't just like jump up, but like if the ball is anywhere on the rim, you can go swat it out, you can take it out, you can do whatever, where that would be a goaltending in the NBA. Like there's like, it's a completely different thing. And Team USA, you're not on a roster where you're the number one guy or anything. No, you're on a roster where everybody's the number one guy and used to being the number one guy and have to figure it out. And Austin Reaves still stood out above everybody. Brandon Ingram, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges. Not saying that they didn't. Oh, Brandon Ingram was rough pretty much the entire thing. But like Mikal Bridges had some great games. Jalen Brunson had some great games, right? But Austin Reaves, every single game outside of one. And even that one game, he still gave you 7 points. And his worst game was literally Brandon Ingram's average. And people thought Brandon Ingram was going to be the best player on Team USA. Look, does Austin Reaves get hype because he's a Laker? Absolutely. Is he getting more attention and hype that he would have otherwise had he not been a Laker? Absolutely. The reason he is getting that hype, though, and it continues, is because he's lived up to that hype. If he was some bum that was sitting on the bench and not playing because he wasn't good enough, the hype would die down and go away. But the dude is having games where he's the 6th, 7th guy on the roster and leads the team in points and assists. In a closeout game where he's trying to lead this team to a gold medal, he puts up 21 points. Austin Reaves is him. And I guarantee you, this dude is hungrier than a hippo. Like, this dude, I do not see a scenario where he's not at home right now going like, I need some hardware. I was 4 wins away from being in an NBA Finals, and I was 1 win away from being in a gold medal finals, the World Cup finals. I need to get to the NBA Finals. We need to go win an NBA championship. I wouldn't be shocked if he's already called LeBron and talked to everybody and be like, we have to win. Like, there is no... And look, Austin Reaves is going to be a huge part of this Lakers team, and especially if we win. Austin Reaves wants a big role. He wants to be more on the ball. The Lakers have reiterated several times that they want the same thing. I wouldn't be surprised if Austin Reaves plays the most minutes out of everybody on the roster. He did it last year after his emergence. He was the guy that I fully expect to be the closer down the stretch. He was that last year. There was all these question marks, which I completely understood. I talked about these question marks. I had the same ones of like, can he continue this? Right? Like, because again, we've seen guys have good years, good months, good stretches, good playoffs. Like even Rui Hachimura has been lights out in the playoffs. Not just for the Lakers, but for the Wizards too. Go look up his stats for the Wizards in the playoffs. He hasn't been able to translate that in the regular season. And you look at Reaves, second year, we've seen lots of guys kind of hit that sophomore, junior wall, right, where they just kind of taper off. We've seen guys have, Lin Sanity, Jeremy Lin, just had this huge explosion. A couple years later, he's out the league. Chandler Parsons is an example I've used several times, right? Dude had this incredible stretch, led to just absolute bag, and he was out of the league before his contract was up. Now, some of that was injuries and stuff, to be fair, but still, right? We've seen this. And there was a real question of, can Austin Reaves continue this? Is this just like a moment? What does it look like when teams start scheming and he's on the whiteboard and, teams are actually putting him on the scouting report and everything like that and targeting him? What happens? And, Paul George had a podcast about this where he talked about how it's a completely different game, right? When you go from just, you can go get 20, but you're not like the guy to where now you are, now people, and look, he's still going to be the third guy because you got LeBron and AD, but I think most nights he's the second option. And on many nights, I think he might be the first option because I think LeBron and Anthony Davis are going to miss 20 plus games. I think on all of those games, he's the second guy. I think it's not even out of the realm of possibility that they both miss and then he's the number one guy. And I think any games where AD doesn't play, I think LeBron kind of lets Austin Reaves kind of be him and then LeBron kind of be the secondary guy. Because LeBron's only going to care about getting healthy to the playoffs. Because this team is so deep, so talented, just everything you need. Right? So, and I just think the experience of Team USA, we have seen the impact that Team USA has on players once they end up leaving and go to their respective teams. Austin Reaves was supposed to be a guy that was just filling a seat at the end of the bench that may get minutes here and there, to literally being a high usage, we need him on the court constantly, Steve Kerr trusting him and relying on him heavily because he was that good. On a roster full of literal franchise guys. Mikal Bridges for the Nets, Brandon Ingram for the Pelicans, Jalen Brunson for the Knicks, right? Anthony Edwards for the Wolves. You got Triple J for the Grizzlies. All of these guys are their guys on their respective teams. You know, some of them are, you know, like Triple J, you got Ja, right? Brandon Ingram, you got Zion, but they're still like their franchise guys are still like their big important guys that they're building their teams around. Austin Reaves was an undrafted, always having to grind, always having to work hard, always having to work his tail off, always having to prove it. And he's just so, the thing that makes him great is his efficiency and his consistency. He is one of the most consistent players there is. And he's super efficient. I mean, you're talking about a guy that was almost 50, 40, 90 this year. I mean, all the other guys that are 50, 40, 90 are almost all Hall of Famers. And this dude almost shot 50, 40, 90 this year. And I do fully believe he will at some point this year. Or next year, or at some point, period. This is a guy that legitimately is, I fully believe, could be a 25-5 guy. Or maybe even a 25-5 guy. Maybe not so much this year, but I do think at some point he absolutely could. I think he's an all-star level guy. Now, will he ever make an all-star team? Right? Because the problem with the West is it's just so deep with guards that it'd be really hard. But he does have the Laker backing, right? Laker fans almost got Caruso in a all-star game, right? But every year there's that snub list. I fully believe Austin Reaves is going to be good enough to be on there. I thought Reaves this year had a real shot of getting like 18 to 20 points. I because of the Christian Wood signing, I think it's probably closer to like 15 points. I mean, again, I still wouldn't be like, if you told me, hey, I have a time machine, I went and looked at this season, came back, Austin Reaves averaged 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be like, cool. If you told me Austin Reaves averaged a triple-double this year, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, the dude is that good and that consistent. He's been that, right? But I do think he is very unselfish. He does want to play point guard more and kind of make plays for others more. I do think the addition of Christian Wood, there's just more mouths to feed, right? And so I think Wood's points are got to come from somewhere. And I think it'll be a little bit from everybody. I think it'll be a little from LeBron, AD, and Reaves. But you know Reaves is probably itching right now. Because he's came close twice now in the last few months and hasn't been able to get over that hump. Go get that chip. Go get that chip. That'll solve everything. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Agree with me? Disagree with me? Somewhere in between? Think the Lakers win the chip? Love to hear it. Let me know.